My girlfriend wants us to date her best friend. I'm kind of considering it.
I mean, hey, it's a sweet deal right there.
I've been dating my girlfriend, Jenna, for a little over 2 years. Things in the relationship have always been great. A little hiccup here and there, but just the usual stupid couple fights for dumb stuff that aren't that bad in the grand scheme of things. By the way, this comes from username. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So Jenna has a friend, Mia, that she's been BFFs with since they became roommates freshman year of college. They're practically inseparable, and everyone thinks they're sisters because they look very similar aside from hair color.
Okay.
They're really close. Ridiculously close even. Apparently, when they were in college, they did this whole experimentation thing with each other.
Oh, like they put goo in a test tube and then mixed it with you know.
Did a baking soda volcano, you know?
Yeah, they did the movie Weird Science.
Weird Science. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jenna was very upfront with me about this when we first started dating. They are both very attractive. And the idea of them doing what she talked about only turned me on to her more.
Oh, they're electrical engineers.
Wow, Jenna.
That's why I turned on like a light switch.
Well, Jenna and I have been solid the past 2 years. Mia hasn't been as lucky. She's dated about 6 guys since Jenna and I have been together, all varying from generally good guys to dirt pickles. She was one of those girls who just couldn't stay single. Since I've known her, she'd take a few weeks at most between relationships and then move on to the next one. That was until the most recent breakup about 3 months ago. Since then, she has been by herself trying to figure things out on her own. That's good. What we like, you know?
Yeah.
Take time to understand who you want to be. With help from my girlfriend and a little bit from me as well. Right before Thanksgiving break, we all went out to a bar to relax. But I see you in the comments if you see what's coming.
I mean, they're probably just going to talk about their
Electrical engineering.
studies.
Yeah.
Anatomy studies.
Ooh. Well, at the bar, I noticed that Mia was a little more handsy with me than usual. Jenna didn't seem to mind at all, though. I didn't really think too much of it, just that Mia was a bit more wasted than either of us, so I ignored it, not wanting to dampen the mood. I'm sure he didn't want to dampen that mood. We eventually left and went back to Mia's apartment because it was within walking distance of the bar.
It sounds like someone's mood's already a little damp.
When we got there, we stayed up a bit longer, and the booze lowered everyone's inhibitions, and the topic of spicy sleep came up. This is when Mia and Jenna started to talk about their early college experiments in front of me.
And that was just totally random, LOL.
Totally random.
Totally LOL XD
Not
random.
trying to inspire something. While Jenna had told me things had happened, it was very matter of fact and straight to the point, no detail. This is the first time I got the whole story, and holy crap, was I turned on.
OP's building circuitry. Like a madman.
It was. I mean, hey, that's what they're talking about. The science experiments, you know, little circuit boards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Put those circuits in parallel or in series.
right. AC, DC. That's all me.
I want that capacitor right there.
Give me
Put
that
that diode on that
transistor.
thing. I'm pulling all of my electrical engineering knowledge, which is not much. This is the Dear Penthouse. So I won't go into details of what they said. And no, the three of us did not get into anything that night. However, when Jen and I went to bed, he brought up the idea of bringing Mia into the bedroom in the near future. Seeing as my pants were still tight from earlier, my goodness, OP, you are one little horn dog.
Tight pants because of all of the electricity.
Oh, the food he ate beforehand. Yeah. Also the electricity.
Something you don't know about electricians is their pants tighten like a canary in a coal mine.
Yeah.
So
Or
if
like
there's
those
too much
shoes.
electricity going on, their pants cinch up.
Yep.
And like you know, the canary in the coal mine that stops chirping when there's too much gas and it's dangerous.
Of course.
Of course.
Everyone knows.
Of course.
I agreed enthusiastically about bringing Jenna into the bedroom, and we eventually went to sleep. Over the next week, Jenna began bringing up hints about Mia, how pretty I think she is, if things would be weird, etc., just gauging my interest level. While I was still very interested with the booze out of my system and blood back in my brain, I was a bit more hesitant to pursue the potential menage in fear of ruining what Jenna and I have, or even what Mia and Jenna have.
Yeah.
When I voiced these concerns, she dropped the bombshell on me. She had been talking with Mia lately about all of us dating.
See, now, all of you dating?
Pause right here.
Very different than all of you in the same room at the same time.
That is one night, maybe even a couple hours if you're up for that kind of thing. And that's much different than adding a third. A polycule is different than a 3-night stand.
Yeah, this is like having a party versus starting a business.
Yes.
One is just sort of an event. The other is like a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I don't think OP is ready for that. Also, I feel like it seems like she's been pitching, like Mia and Jenna have been talking about dating. I feel like OP should have been talked about with that information sooner. I feel like that should have been a conversation between OP and his girlfriend, instead of a conversation between these friends.
We're just assuming he's a guy, he'll be down.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
That's not true. That's not true.
I would not be down for that. That's crazy.
I feel like maybe guys would be down with it in theory, but confronted with the reality of that situation.
As a meme, guys are down for
course,
it.
Yeah.
But when it's real life, it's
that's a lot of work.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've got so much work to do.
Yeah. So many flowers to get.
That's for me, it's just not something I'd probably ever do. Because there's just too many potential avenues of pain.
Yeah. I mean, Wildberry in the chat says, how to ruin your relationship 101. And I think while this won't always ruin a relationship, I do think it complicates a relationship, and it should be trodden with extra care. Because this kind of thing, it's changing the dynamic of your whole relationship, right?
This
moving
is true.
houses can be stressful in a relationship. Adding a third person, that's a whole new thing.
Well, it feels like y'all two were talking about dating each other, and then it was my husband will also join in.
Yeah,
that's the vibe.
Exactly.
So it's
he feels.
Do you really want to date?
The add-on,
right? It's who do you really want?
Yeah.
We
got more to this story. Oh, wait, who said I don't want to disappoint two women at the same time? Who said that? Scroll up. Seamus James says, I don't want to disappoint two women at the same time.
Dude, that's just Pete Davidson secretly in our comments right now.
Too much to handle.
That's funny. That was funny.
I was obviously confused. My first reaction was, you're joking, right? And then, are you testing me? But
she butt-sured me.
But she insured me.
No, you got to say, but she ass-sured me. You got to really hit it.
But she assured me that she wasn't. She was a very upfront person, has never done anything like that before, so I believed her. I then asked her if our relationship wasn't enough for her, if this meant she wanted to date other people, and she again very vehemently denied those concerns of mine. She said it would strictly be me, her, and Mia. Her reasoning was Jenna absolutely loves and adores Mia. Jenna is spicy-relatedly attracted to both me and Mia. Mia is spicy-relatedly attracted to both me and Jenna. In Jenna's mind, it's having your cake and eating it too.
Oh, so our new word for that is spiciality.
Spiciality. Ooh,
yes,
I like that.
Spiciality attracted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will use that from now on.
Yeah.
She did not force these wishes on me. She just brought up the possibility that it could happen. I asked where all this came from, and here's what I got out of her. Mia had brought up the idea of a 3-way to Jenna, and Jenna thought it would be fun. That's why Mia was extra flirty with me that one night. When Jenna got back to Mia's apartment, she started thinking about how she truly has feelings for both the people in the room, and that she couldn't differentiate between the love he has for both of us. It wasn't a very recent feeling either. She had been battling it for a while, and that night she talked about those things that she did with Mia, and it brought all the feelings back that she was unsure of. As it so happened, Mia had been harboring those same feelings and had the same type of epiphany and sought out Jenna to talk to her at some point this week. Mia told Jenna her feelings about both of us, and Jenna admitted she felt the same way about her. She told Mia he would speak to me about it. Jenna did not pressure me with the decision, and there was no malice behind any of her words. If anything, she was very gentle to make sure I wasn't upset. I was concerned that the three of us dating would just be stepping stone to slowly phase me out of the relationship without breaking up with me. I told her if that were the case, then she should just end things now. She swore up and down that this was not the case and even cried a little. She said that she loves me and doesn't want to lose me, but also loves Mia. I feel like a valid concern, you know, like I feel like a lot of people can start polycules because they have feelings for another person, but don't necessarily want to disappoint the person that they're with. I don't think it's maybe a lot of people is an overstatement, but we've read stories about that before.
I can't speak to any certainty of like the mind state of people who are actively like poly.
Yeah,
So I could never.
For the poly people in the chat, would love to hear from you. Does this feel kosher?
Well, my question to Jenna, if I'm OP, my question would be: do you love Mia or do you lust Mia?
I think she loves Mia.
Because
I think she also lusts.
Case,
I think she loves Mia. It sounds like what she was saying is like I was looking. Obviously, I was like spatially attracted to Mia, but then I realized that the two people in the room, I actually feel the same love for both of them, and so it is love. It's not just lust.
Dang. So if I'm her partner, I'm OP. She's like, I'm in love with Mia, but I'm like, I'm not in love with Mia though. Now I'm in a weird spot. I have to either be okay with the woman I love, also being in in love with someone else.
Jenna is like the meat in the middle, and she now has two relationships. I feel like what would happen is Mia and OP would need to build their own loving relationships if it would work.
It's a sandwich. Like, yeah, OP is a piece of bread, Mia is the meat, and Jenna's
the meat, Mia is the other piece of bread.
The other sandwich, yeah.
I think
I like sandwiches.
I
love sandwiches.
My instinct here is that if this happens, fundamentally, like the relationship is
done,
is going to break. I think
if
because
OP's not on board,
OP doesn't have that connection to Mia. If it was like hey, like let's do this thing casually, it's like maybe that could work. It'll probably still get messy, but maybe it'll work. But if it's like I'm in love with this other person and we should all be in love together, I don't think you can just force that.
Yeah,
you can't white knuckle.
Love.
Like just becoming in love with someone because it's what would make sense in a situation.
And I want to shout out Haven, who said, as someone who's been polyamorous for 6 years, I think choosing to be poly because you found someone you like is the wrong reason. I think it should be because you want to be poly in general. And I think that is the difficult thing is like, I think starting a relationship as a poly relationship is easier than converting a monogamous relationship to a poly one. And Catarine says, who brought up the phasing out idea? That's what confused me. OP is worried about being phased out.
Which is true because the comment above that, B Hope Arts, is like, why is the girlfriend having these conversations with Mia before having them with OP? You talk to your partner about this before the potential new partner. It's like, yeah.
I think it just came up.
Well, it really does feel like it was like a, we'll kind of already hammer it out on our end. So once we bring it to him, it'll just be like well, we already did this thing. We've already decided that we should do this. So you want to do it too, right?
Yeah. I'm curious what everyone thinks in the comments, but I'm going to keep going and see if we can get some more context.
There's a lot of meat. There's a lot of meat on these bones.
I want to know if you think, does this polycule have a happy ending? Put a
yes
vote.
And no.
Do you think OP will develop feelings for Mia or not? Yes or no?
I feel like we shouldn't have done this is what OP is going to develop.
We'll put up a poll and you let us know. We're barely like a fifth through this story. So we got a lot of more juice to squeeze. So I said that it kind of sounds like she wants Mia and I to only date her, but she said that Mia wants to date both of us. So again, it wouldn't just be a sandwich. It would be a little love triangle. Everyone's connected to each other. Mia has really grown fond of me over these 2 years and allegedly really wants someone to treat her the way I treat Jenna. But that takes time. Man's going to have a full overtime job taking care of both these women like he takes care of Jenna.
If you're going to have a real partner and a fake partner, you can't. What do you like? Listen to yourself, bro. Listen to yourself, bro.
There's a tall order.
What are we doing?
Like Jellybus says.
You're like, she wants like a loving partner, so I'll role play as one.
The Tomlet says, poly person here. My boyfriend is also poly. He's in 2 relationships I'm not involved with his other girlfriend, save as a friend, but I was poly before I met him. She was not, but was accepting. And I guess that's a example of someone who didn't start poly and converted. So maybe it's working out. I said I needed time to think about it, and she's given me my space, but I'm pretty sure she wants an answer soon. Here's the kicker. I've been researching engagement rings for about a month now.
Oh, all right. This is not going to work. Not going to work. This ain't working. You are so on the opposite side of the ideological field.
I was ready to make Jenna my wife, and then this was thrown at me. Jenna, of course, is unaware, and I haven't purchased a ring yet, but I planned on buying one soon and proposing around New Year's, so here I am. I don't have any issues with Mia. Heck, I love her myself, just not the same way that Jenna does. Of course, I find her attractive. They both are, and I genuinely enjoy hanging out with her when Jenna isn't around. She's grown into one of my best friends, but I've seen how she is in relationships and how all of hers have progressed. Maybe things have changed in the 3-month window and she's finally found peace within herself. I really don't know. I just have no idea how poly relationships work, and I have no idea what to do. I was ready to make Jenna my wife, but she wants us all to be together as one big happy family. I don't have a specific question because I don't know what the heck I'm going to do because I'm so dang confused right now. On the one hand, and I'm sorry if this sounds tactless and shallow, 2 very attractive women are into me and both want to have spicy sleep with me at the same time, and that is just fantastic. On the other hand, I'm happy with where Jenna and I are and am ready to marry her. What is my next step? How do I move forward with this? There is an edit. There are many thick, juicy updates. But Dakota, chat, what do you think is the move forward? And also, I'm looking at the votes right now. It looks like
pass me that.
23% of people are saying it can have a happy ending. 77% are not. OP is definitely not on the same page as everyone else. Yagaira Reyes says this is not going to work at all. Wildberry, they're on very different pages.
This is the thing. Do we remember the backstory we got on Mia at the beginning?
Yeah,
that she is chronically in a relationship, chronically not single,
and it's all like her relationships are
OP
pretty rough.
Goes. I've seen how she is in relationships and how all of hers have progressed. So you know without a shred of doubt how that's going to play out. You think that her solution is that she's just not had enough on her plate in the relationship she's been in?
Yeah.
I very much doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, if she's bad at relationships with one people, I mean, battling and working with the desires of 2 people is just so difficult. And maybe it would be different if she had a long history of very happy, beautiful relationships, but that is just not the case.
Well, fundamentally, OP is like, you're just nowhere near where they are.
I think
you're like, I was ready to do the thing where we get married and then it's just me and you forever. I was ready for that. And now you didn't even bring this to me. You set this up without me.
Also,
and now I'm either have to be the good guy or the bad guy.
Miss Woozy says poly relationships require constant conversation to ensure everyone is on the same page. I would probably be into poly, but it sounds like so much work. I can barely handle one partner. Yeah, it is. It is. I feel like poly relationships need more communication than just monogamous relationships. OP and friend haven't had any romantic interactions as far as we know. How could she know she wants to be in a relationship with him?
Exactly.
That's what I was
don't
just
think she knows.
about to say.
She doesn't have any clarity.
I think honestly, if you were trying to have the best chance of this working out, you should just I feel like they should all just hook up a couple times and then see how they feel and just naturally progress the relationship a step forward. I don't know if you're trying to make a little polycule.
If you're going from 0 to 100,
yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like a terrible idea. I would say don't do this.
But we got an edit.
Yeah.
So we had a long talk tonight with Jenna, then Mia and Jenna tonight. When I get a chance, I'll write an update, but it won't be short.
Oh, here we go.
Here is the update.
Here it is, folks.
Thanks for all the help from the last thread with special shout out to the folks over at r/polyamory. We got a subreddit for that, folks. Those guys are seriously awesome and ridiculously helpful, understanding, and encouraging. So I called Jenna and told her I wanted to talk with her one-on-one and then with both her and Mia later, and she agreed. She came to my apartment and I got right into it. I had a list of things I wanted to say. It was very long, a couple of pages. I ran down my list of questions and she gave me answers. Most of them were for clarification. The others were for expectation. She isn't the best with her words, so I found myself helping her better articulate what her feelings were and the points that she was trying to get across. And here are some of the highlights. I did not tell her I'd been looking at rings. A person mentioned that might almost be a manipulative way to get my point across, and that wasn't necessary. She does not know about it, and I don't think I will tell her about that until much, much later, if ever. I did not ask about what would happen if I said I didn't want to give this whole thing a shot because I've reached the conclusion that I do. OP wants to give it a shot. I don't need to know what could have happened. I just need to know what will happen and what to expect. Sorry to disappoint those who are interested.
I like how he said that like there's like a guarantee. I just need to know what exactly is going to happen. Like, dude, you don't know. Like, it's either going to be like, I guess you spend the rest of your life with these two people.
Well, wait. I don't think Jenna's asking to marry the polycule. She's just asking to date. So it's not a rest of the life thing. It could be a triple
That's
marriage.
how those things start.
But I think it's a little less intense. I again asked if I was not enough for her. It was a basic insecurity question that I needed an answer for. We reached the conclusion that there was no less love for me or our relationship. She just has a ton of love to give out. And point blank, I asked her, had they at any point fooled around behind my back? Was there any cheating? Her response was no. I believe her.
Okay.
She's a god-awful liar, and I would have been able to tell the only time they did stuff was during wasted makeout sessions in front of me while at parties. I was okay with that.
And I give that 2 thumbs up.
I told her how confused I was about the entire thing. She understood. She was too. I asked her what her expectations were for this entire thing. She said ultimately, she wants everyone to be happy with each other and for us all to date one another. I told her it was not a reasonable expectation at first because of the dynamic of Mia and my friendship at this point in a relationship, because they just know each other as like friends.
They don't love each other like that.
Yeah.
They love each other like brotherly platonic love.
Yeah, brotherly platonic love. Yeah.
I couldn't think of any examples that wouldn't sound wrong, though.
I told her about the V dynamic, and she said it sounded like a good starting point. I guess the V dynamic is Jenna having a relationship with OP and Mia, but them not dating. Mia and OP.
Sandwich, yeah.
If you need to build graphs for this, if you need to make charts and visual aids for this, might be a little more complicated than what you're looking for, buddy.
Laito says, I feel like they should go on individual dates with the third to see if there's even feels there. I think the girlfriend is romanticizing the old hookup.
I just think this is crazy that there was that comment that's like, don't tell her you were buying the ring because that's manipulative. It's like, I don't think you need to tell her that you're buying the ring, but you are genuinely like in a place where you were ready to settle and commit to one person. And she's telling you she wants the exact opposite of that. So you should let her know, hey, I'm very far away from where you're at. I am nowhere there close to where you're at naturally.
I feel like he kind of got quickly over. He said he is down.
I mean, how really?
Try.
I don't know.
I asked her how she would feel if I were on a date with Mia while she was not around. She replied, I would be turned on.
Electricians.
Then we went off on a tangent about spicy sleep. I got a boner, and I found out that my girlfriend has a thing for that stuff, which I'm totally okay with. But I told her that being horny about it is all well and good. I just needed her to be happy for us if Mia and my relationship blossomed. She looked at me like a goofball and said with a smile, of course, I'd be thrilled if that were to happen. There's some other stuff that we talked about that I can't think of off the top of my head. And if you want to know, and I asked, I'll tell you, after we got all that crap out in the open, we called Mia over, had a group session about everything. So now we're getting to the group. It seems like OP is on board.
I don't know. I'm not buying it. I feel like OP's convinced themselves to be on board.
I think it's cool and hot and everything that they're all, all talking about good old romps in the sack. But it feels like the conversation is like very centered around like spicy sleep
Yes.
and not as much about, a loving relationship,
right.
dating dynamic. And I'm like, is the whole, is it lust? And now I'm wondering, like, is it lust or love?
That
again?
was my whole question from the, because it feels very like, oh my God, I remember when we did that crazy thing. It's like, yeah, that was so crazy. It's like,
I think
let's
maybe,
do that again. It's like, are you sure? Are you really? Is it love?
But Miss Jaber said, at least they're communicating. That is true. We love that. We love that. When Mia came over, she was a bit more shy than normal because I think she was a little shamed and embarrassed about the possibility of coming between me and Jenna.
Well, isn't that exactly what you guys want?
I reassured her that we were okay and were ready to move forward. She started beaming. I went over a lot of the same stuff that I did with Jenna, so I won't repeat it, but we all did some talk about some aspects of everything. We defined the boundaries of if anyone else was allowed in our little group. Jenna said that she only felt the way she does about me and Mia, and I said I wasn't interested in anyone else, and Mia said she wasn't interested in anyone else. So the parameters have been set. Any outside interference was defined as cheating. This is what the polycule is. I'm still worried about Mia's past relationship history affecting this relationship. But it seems like everything's kind of going okay.
This is not gonna go well.
Duchess Cassandra says, I think the physical attraction is marring the romance aspect of the relationship. I do agree. But It's Me Nani says it's a good start. I think it is a good start. There's still more. There's a lot more.
Here's my quick breakdown. Mia doesn't know what she wants. She just knows what she doesn't want, which is being single. OP is trying to white knuckle and logic their way into being cool with the the poly situation.
Yep.
Which is you can't do that. And honestly, all of this started from an actual lie, or at least deception, because the partner, Jenna, set all of this up alone, which you cannot do.
So I would give maybe I'm a little bit on the other side. I think I would give a little more grace just because it seemed like it was a sudden realization of feelings, but I do feel like OP and Jenna should have had Jenna should have said, hey, I realize I have feelings for Mia. Can I talk to you about it? And I think then should have gone to Mia.
Right.
And so, yeah, I do agree that it is a little bit of it does feel like it hurts a little bit the integrity of the main relationship.
Well, yeah, it forces OP into a corner.
Yeah. Let me know if you agree. I would say it's it started a little bit rough.
Yeah.
But it does feel like they're communicating well now.
Yeah. But the energy's so different between
it starts
hey, here's this thing I'm feeling now. What do you think about it? And versus hey, here's this thing we've got going on. Are you going to let it happen or are you going to shoot it down? Now you're in a position where it's I either have to be,
instead of co-creating,
I have to either rain on everyone's parade or I can be the cool guy.
I wish they were co-creating this new phase of the relationship, and it feels like she's presenting an already thought out option. We decided that spicy sleep should be off limits for the time being, and they seemed both surprised and bummed out about that, but understood when I explained that we were basically starting a new relationship. It didn't matter how long we all knew each other. This is the start of something new, and spicy sleep with your partner isn't something you dive into right away until all parties are 100% comfortable with it. This included threesomes for the time being. I am wiener blocking myself and confusing my boner, but it's the right thing to do. I told them about the research I had done in the books that I had found, which were suggested to me by Redditors. What are these books? How we can all benefit from reading them. What are the...
My book from Dr. Boner, How to Unconfuse Your Boner.
Random thing here. Christmas gifts will be a joint effort by two people for the other one. That's a random...
They're planning Christmas now?
That's kind of cute.
Shut up, dude. This is way too much.
I kind of like this.
You
this
can't...
Is cute.
I like Christmas.
I think it's cute.
Stop it.
Casey Leaf says,
more
Idiot's
gifts.
Guide to Polycules. This will save money / allow for better gifts. So instead of getting 2 presents, we all get 1.
Dumb. This is crazy.
No, I was thinking
this
2
is
more gifts.
Crazy.
I think it's cute.
This is crazy.
We spoke about how honesty is the #1 priority in a relationship if it is going to work. Honesty with ourselves, each other, jealousy, our emotions and feelings. Honesty is the only way it will work. Jenna is on a timeshare with us at the moment, but not really. We aren't defining when either of us gets her throughout the year. She's not a beach house, but we will be conscious of what is going on as to not let anyone feel left out. Okay, so they're like basically ensuring that everyone gets time with each other so no one feels left out. Because like when you're when you're managing relationships with multiple people, like you gotta make sure everyone has a little time. Dutch Sana says Sam is in his love phase, can't see all the red flags.
This is just not going to work.
I don't know.
It's just not gonna work. It's impossible because it didn't start with that. Look.
Oh, dude. LaBella
I guess it is possible, but
the best poly book out there is called The Ethical Slut. I was dating this girl who was reading that and was telling me about it because she was trying to be a therapist for poly relationships.
And I have nothing funny to say about that. I have nothing funny. I have nothing that could maybe be an off-colored remark to say about that. I've only got squeaky clean. The bald man is in my head cleaning the floors. That's how clean it is up there right now.
It seems like all three of us are on the same page in that the idea of the other person with the other person turns them on and does not make them jealous. Great. I suppose that's a good thing. Again, this isn't everything, just the tip of the iceberg. I probably talked with Jenna, then Jenna and Mia for like 8 hours, and I'm spent. While the Jenna me and Jenna Mia aspects of the relationships are solid, the Mia me aspect needs to be established from the beginning. I brought up how I only saw her as my girlfriend's friend, but find her attractive. Jenna suggested me and I go on a date with each other. I was hesitant to jump in so quickly, but they both encouraged me to do so. So now I have a date with my girlfriend's girlfriend tomorrow night, and I'm incredibly nervous. I really want it to work because it would make our lives that much easier. We will have plenty to talk about. So now,
excuse me. What did you just say?
My girlfriend's girlfriend. Let him cook. D-Red says, let him cook. The key is that they're talking.
I really hope it works out.
For dummies.
OP thinks this is going to make their lives easier?
Slidey Toe says, sometimes the best throuples just happen. 3 people just click. Everyone is comfortable.
Right. That doesn't sound like this is what's happening. They're having to plan Christmas. They're planning Christmas ahead of time. So that no one gets jealous like they're the chimpanzees in the cage, seeing like one chimp get more cake than the other. Like, what are we talking about?
I just love that Keon's
crazy.
All he's fucked up.
Yeah, man, he's got them all.
Wow. Pauly secure.
And one's just going to be the giving tree.
This is for you, Dakota. I think this is yours.
Yeah, dude. You got to get more comfortable with it. You got to relax. You're so tense. Come over here.
You get 2 massages.
Yeah. Keon will get one shoulder. I'll get the other.
No.
You can be our little bread in the middle. Our little salami.
I'll have to really stew on that. I like how it's me, Nani says, my brain's breaking on the wrong thing because I keep bringing up planning Christmas.
Christmas.
It just feels like dude, get the gift for the person that you think they would like. Why are we planning?
So now I have a date Monday evening with the girl who I never thought I'd date, and it's for reasons I never thought were possible, and my fantasy football teams are letting me down right now. Like I said earlier, if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. We got comments, and we have more updates. We are not even halfway through. We are going to see this relationship unfold right now.
The only important question, OP, is what do you want? What is it? What do you want?
I think OP's wanted this. I think he's down.
I still don't believe it.
He just didn't know it was possible.
I don't believe it.
It's like, you don't even like he is opened up to the idea that, oh wow, like he didn't even realize. It's kind of like breaking the 4-minute mile.
That's what I'm saying. He's logicking it.
Once someone broke the 4-minute mile, people are like breaking it left and right because they knew it was possible. He didn't even know it was possible.
Yeah, but this isn't a 4-minute mile. That's like a breaking the boundaries of like human physical limits. Like
this is more just the boundaries of what he thought relationships could be.
But look, my partner's like, I love Mia and we love each other and we're in love. We want to love. All of us want to be in love together.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's just my homie. But you're like, I guess I could,
because he didn't even realize.
I guess I could get there. It's just you can't logic it. You can't be like,
All right, I want an update on our poll. Do you think this is going to have a happy ending? Yes or no? Before we were at 22% saying happy ending, 77% or 78% saying it was not going to have a happy ending. Let's have a little vote, and we're going to get into the comments and the update. So comments. Comment one question is, what if you don't feel it with Mia? I mean, sure, you're attracted to her, but what if after a couple of dates you're not interested with her? How would Jenna take it? Would she still want to be with you? But I suppose you can cross that path when/if you come to it. I'll keep an eye out for updates. So not my type of situation. I'd run if it were suggested. This is the commenter saying it, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. And OP responds, I think then it would just be a V-type relationship where we'd each date her individually. So basically OP wouldn't have a relationship with Mia, but Jenna would have a relationship with Mia and OP.
Okay.
So it's like if OP isn't feeling it,
look,
then he just has a relationship with Jenna.
I think if you're cool with that arrangement, you should just do that right away. Don't even.
And it looks like things haven't changed. People are still thinking 24% are thinking the happy ending, 77% sad ending. Let's see what happens. So if you don't feel it with Mia, this is a commenter replying, she will just be dating your girlfriend. So what do you get out of this whole thing then? I mean, if you're not dating her, does that mean no threesomes? If you end in a V relationship, then you will basically have what you had with your girlfriend, except you'll be seeing someone else as well as you. In that case, your girlfriend will have her cake and eat it too, and you'll have what exactly? You could end up the third wheel in your own relationship. OP responds, I hope I didn't come off as pretentious in my other post. I reread what I wrote, and I might come off as douchey. I know. I apologize, but right now I just have to put faith into me and Jenna that they won't screw me, figuratively, out of the relationship. Communication is key in any relationship, but even more so in these, it seems. I think it really just depends on your mindset in these things. I'm going to try to be happy with Jenna and Mia's happiness, and Mia is already happy with mine and Jenna's. There's a lot of trust being thrown around right now, and I'm sure to outsiders, it's kind of like, what the F, bro? She borderline cheated on you, bro. But I don't have that same outlook as everyone else. And there's another commenter.
The weird thing that's getting me is it feels like OP is talking about like, well, so I haven't drank orange juice with pulp before, but people tell me it's a nice alternative. It's like, this is a much bigger thing than I think you're making
Especially
it out to be.
for someone who is, I mean, I think what is happening is like you're risking the relationship. You are risking the relationship, but maybe if he didn't allow Jenna to see Mia, that would also be a risk to the relationship. And so allowing the relationship to change is like, at least the possibility of the change is what preserves the potential of it continuing.
This was just
But comment 2, there's a problem here. It looks like she is spicy relatedly turned on by all this more than emotionally enjoying it. That's what we said earlier. Lust versus love. By that, I think this will fail hard. It feels like it's more about spicy sleep than anything. I agree. Everyone's talking about how hot how hot it is to have this setup and not how lovely it's going to be. Although they did talk about Christmas presents, which I feel like is more on the romance side than it is on the spicy sleep side. So I think there is some of it, but I feel like there's a lot more talk about boners and threesomes than there is about weddings and Christmas.
And it's like, they have more history, so maybe they are. Look, I'm seeing some comments there that saying like, I just disagree with anything that I wouldn't do. It's like, no, I just don't think OP really wants to date both of these women at the same time.
Yeah.
I think OP is trying to convince themselves that that is a cool thing they'd like to do, when in reality, it's something that they're like, I mean, oh, whatever. I've never thought that would be a thing, but I guess I'll give it a try. It's like,
but I think that's how you. I think that's how you expand your world generally, right? Like, I think I didn't realize you could travel the world like cheaply and affordably.
Yeah, but
until like an ex was like, well, you can do this and you can explore.
But he was about to marry her. He was planning a proposal.
Yeah.
If that wasn't in there, I'd be like, maybe this is what you want. But it was like, pretty clear.
I think
you weren't there.
But I think that's just because that's the image of what he thought. The only image of what he thought a future relationship could look like. Like, to belabor another metaphor, it would be like, like I studied engineering and thought I would be an engineer, and then realized that like you could make silly videos online and that's more fun. And like that, I didn't even realize that was a possibility for a life, which is why I went to the engineering degree, my I guess the ring of my corporate life.
Your brain ring.
Yeah, my little working ring. Anyway, that's probably a bad metaphor, but you got an update coming right up. The date happened. OP and Mia's date.
Okay.
This is the third that they're introducing into their relationship. So
it's like and we talked about the coupons we got for Trader Joe's.
But beforehand,
it's gonna be Okay.
I spoke with Jenna about any ground rules/boundaries I needed to follow. It basically came down to no spicy sleep. The time being something we already established a few days ago. I made sure that Jenna was perfectly content with what was happening, and I also shook off some last-minute insecurities. She kept reassuring me that she was fine with everything and that ultimately my happiness in my relationship with Mia would make her so happy. So, on to the date. I was planning on using the date as a good way to open up with some dialogue one-on-one with Mia, something I had not done yet. I had spoken with both her and Jenna together, but not Mia alone. This was a good opportunity to get complete perspective from her end and to figure out what's going on inside her head. We had some time to kill before the movie, so we hung out at her apartment for a little bit. It was very awkward, really awkward. I had no idea how to behave around her anymore. I'd been over at her place 1,000 times before, just her and I hanging out, but this time was different. And we both knew it. She finally made a joke about the elephant in the room, and we both kind of relaxed and started talking more fluidly.
What kind of fluid?
It was then we both opened up and gave each other a little more outlook into our feelings and whatnot. Right before it was time to head to the movie, it was like we were friends again, instead of two people on an awkward date, which is nice. We saw Interstellar because she hadn't seen it yet. Great movie.
Dude.
And we both love movies. I had already seen it once and needed to see it again because of that whole ending thing. Halfway through the movie, she leaned her head on my shoulder and cuddled up next to me. She had done this in the past when we were watching movies together on Netflix at home, but of course things are different now.
This is going to go so freaking bad, dude.
She eventually grabbed and held my hand, which was sweaty from nerves and from the intensity of the movie. For those of you who have seen the film, possibly spoiler ahead, but not really, but maybe when that one explosion happens that you know is about to happen, but still managed to scare the piss out of you, even if you've already seen the dang thing, she shrieked and grabbed me and buried her face in my chest. It was so cute. Me and I are those people that talk about movies after we see them. We had plenty to talk about over dinner, which went well.
I'm sorry. Did you try to imply that that's not what people do after they see movies? You
Dude,
think they just go, yeah, well, now we're done seeing that movie. We should go back to talking about stocks and taxes and anything else besides the movie we just saw.
Are you a movie talker, like in movie talking?
I will. If the people with me are cool with it, I will do it.
I love it. I love talking during a movie.
It has to be a movie I've already seen though.
Yeah.
Or it has to be an absolutely trash movie.
Yeah.
Like I saw a terrible horror movie in theaters with like a group of like 5 friends, and there was only one other person in the theater,
and we
were just eviscerating it the whole time.
But to not go too far off topic,
yeah.
Let us know. Are you guys movie talkers or not? Put the answers in the chat. After dinner, we went to the nearby park to walk around, look at Christmas lights, and talk more. It was really nice. We really dove in deep about what was going on, and it was a great talk. And here are some highlights. We talked about how our relationship started. I met Mia and Jenna the same night at a mutual friend's party. I hit on both of them, not knowing they were roommates at the time, but Mia was in a relationship and Jenna wasn't. That's how my relationship with them began. They apparently always got a laugh about it and joked that I could have had my pick of the two had Mia been single. Man's a regular Casanova over here. We share similar interests in movies, physical activities, sports, etc. We've always talked about going to the gym together. Now, I think we might actually do it. Dude, I think this is going well. You know
where this is? This is where I see this going.
You think it's going to the trash?
I see this going to now you're going to have 2 women fighting over you because Mia is now going to, the person who's like chronically unable to be single, who like probably gets a lot of their value and self-worth from their relationships, is now going to split that with another person. I don't think that's going to go very well for them.
Yeah.
I think they don't realize how much they're going to hate that.
And women fighting over you is stressful.
I would say that is probably the case.
Yeah.
But like, you're just,
Helen
I don't
of
know.
Troy is,
it's
a tough place to be.
You're walking towards the edge of the volcano, brother. You're just about to jump in.
So we talked about her past relationships. Normally, this is a no-no on a first date. I don't think so. I talked about past relationships, of course, with Allie, my girlfriend, when we talked about it. Actually, mostly on her past relationships, but a little bit on mine. I think it's great.
You can do that. I don't think there's any problem about talking about past relationships.
But I've known her for so long and have always kept my distance from her love life. She did not seem to mind. When she would break up with a guy, Jenna was the one who would console her. I help in any way I could, but not much as I can do when her best friend is taking control of the situation. So we touched on that. I told her that I wasn't a fan of the majority of the guys she had dated, and she nodded and agreed. She talked to me about the problems she was having at the time and how she was finally able to seek out help a few months ago. That's what she had been doing for the past 4+ months. I was mistaken in my original post. Instead of saying 3 months, 3 months. She was working on herself. Something about her was just different. This evening, in contrast to how she was in the past, she seemed more at peace with who she was. I don't really know how else to describe it. Whatever she's doing, it's working. Come on, Dakota. You got to admit. It's kind of going well.
Being like, wow, I rehabbed my Achilles injury. I'm going to run 35 miles nonstop now. As hard as I can. I'm going to put myself in the most stress-tested environment. I've realigned my core values and I can better approach dating as a whole. Let's jump into one of the hardest versions of dating.
Yeah. It's like you've done like 10 push-ups and now you're ready for Gladiator.
You're setting yourself up for failure, buddy.
I told her I always thought she was worth more than the way her boyfriends treated her, and she blushed and appreciated the sentiment. I got her side. And then later that night, the light bulb clicked for both.
No.
Wait, I got her side of the night.
So this is what happened. So this is how this started. Mia and Jenna were talking one night and they brought up their previous smooch session.
Okay. I got her side of the night, the light bulb clip for both of them because she tends to be better with words than Jenna. This is a bastardized recollection of what she said to me because it's early and I can't remember every detail. So I apologize if anything is unclear. Basically, Mia always had a thing for Jenna in the back of her mind and always repressed it and eventually developed feelings for me too. So Mia developed feelings for OP.
I don't think Mia
always thought I was attractive and really appreciated the way I handled myself around both Jenna and herself. She would oftentimes compliment me to Jenna, and Jenna would make fun of her for having a crush on me. Eventually, Mia brought up the idea of a threesome with Jenna and me, and she said Jenna was more enthusiastic than she thought she'd be, and that made Mia more excited. The night at the bar, after talking about all the things they used to do together, everything they've been through together, the light went on, and she finally realized her true feelings. She and Jenna soon had a very emotional conversation in which they told each other how they felt, tears were shed, feelings shared, all that good stuff. Mia admitted to Jenna that she loved her, but also had a crush on me and was really confused. Jenna admitted she loves us both, but said she wouldn't break up with me for Mia, to answer that question from the last 2 threads. Mia then said there was a pipe dream that we could all date each other, but never considered it a real possibility. When she found out I was actually okay with it, she was shocked and excited. I got to share my feelings, mostly about how confused they were. I've always been monogamous, as had they, and while it was a new concept, it was exciting. I told her my biggest fear is that we'd all end up hating each other, but at the same time, nothing good ever happened from not trying. What do you got to say about that?
I could come up with some contrarian examples, but I won't say them.
We talked about for this to work out, everyone would have to be 100% honest and open. We walked around, held hands, and talked for a long time. It was probably one of the best dates I've ever been on. Me and I get along great as friends, but there's definitely chemistry between us. When I drop her off at the apartment, I got a goodnight kiss, something I wasn't planning on, but a pleasant surprise. I got home and texted Jenna, and she immediately came over. We live in the same apartment complex to see how everything went. Is Jenna going to be okay with it? Is Jenna going to be okay with it? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure she's going to be thrilled about it. But the problem is that...
What's the problem? I don't see any problems. It seems like everyone's like getting along great.
Problem is where this ends up, dude.
Keon, do you have a problem with this?
As of right now, it seems clear as day. Like, it looks like it's working.
I think it's working.
I think it's working. Like, everyone talked about it. Everyone seems like they're on the same page.
As long as there's clear communication.
I'm waiting for the jealousy aspect to come in, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so either. I think
I guarantee you, Jenna's gonna be like stoked. She's like, "Oh my god, you guys are connecting. You guys look so cute."
Yeah.
So as Mia and OP begin to build their dynamic, because they don't have one yet, as they begin to build it, Mia is going to develop these feelings that she had not had, and there is going to be this, well, who is, oh, well, we're all dating each other, so everyone's at exactly the same place emotionally with each other. But that's not going to be the case, because there's always going to be some level of fluctuation, and that is going to drive her literally insane, and this is all going to explode.
All right.
There it is.
I think that's part of being poly or non-monogamous. Yeah. It's just it fluctuates, but like it's how you handle it.
Yeah, and how you communicate through it.
Hey, I have 2 dogs. I can either get the little Chihuahua.
You hate dogs.
Or I can get the 180-pound Rottweiler with glowing red eyes.
That's totally different.
With like dark spells being like. I'm just saying, it's like
the Rottweiler?
Only one of those. Both of those options could work, but like one has a much higher likelihood of like problems happening. Little Chihuahua.
I don't know. Little
dog
Chihuahuas
with glowing red eyes. One of them might be a worse situation than the other.
I don't know. The dog with glowing red eyes kind of sounds cute.
Its name is Princess.
I was completely upfront with her, Jenna. So now he's talking to Jenna about their relationship with Mia and told her everything. All the contact, the hand holding, the kiss. She just seemed thrilled.
Good.
She was happy for me.
Right, of course she was, because this was her idea. This was Jenna's idea.
She was happy for Mia. That's when I kind of just got it and understood everything as a whole. There was no jealousy from Jenna. There were no hurt feelings. She was proud and happy about me and Mia. It's what people over in the poly sub told me should happen. I don't know. All the self-doubt kind of went away. And at this point, I was just content. Seeing her so happy about the success of the date just put it all in perspective. And I, in turn, wanted the same for her and Mia. Her and Mia hung out themselves last night, and Jenna told me they had a blast, talked about Mia and I's date, and shared a moment themselves. When she told me I wasn't upset at all, I was happy and content. So that is where we are now. We're all hanging out tonight just for fun. Also, this story has a third left. We still got more.
Yeah. Oh, we'll
see how everything goes, but so far so good. This will probably be my last update. It's not, unless something crazy happens or it all blows up in my face again. There is an update. So wait around.
Yes.
Thanks for reading, listening to me, even when I was being a wiener. The entire process of writing it all seems and seeing things from different angles has been cathartic. There are some comments, and I believe another update.
Yeah, I bet you well, who knows what's in that update? Also, everyone stop hating on Chihuahuas. 2 of my favorite dogs were Zeus and Loki. They're 2 little Chihuahuas, and they were perfect.
So how is our yappers, dude?
They were perfect, adorable little dogs, and they did not yap. They were trained.
They didn't yap?
They behaved well. Because their owners made sure they did.
So comment 1. Last update my butt. Update us all when you all bang. Comment 2. Someone is definitely going to get phased out eventually, but I think it will be OP. I don't know. This just seems so, weird. OP was going to propose to Jenna.
Exactly.
And now he's dating someone in addition to Jenna, and everyone is supposed to be hunky-dory about it, and no one is going to feel like a third wheel. It all started with Jenna and Mia wanting to F, but Jenna was in a serious relationship. Right. This does not seem like a great or realistic solution, but Jenna does get to have her cake and eat it too for a while. And we got update 3.
Which, look,
do you
I don't
agree
even
with
care.
That last comment?
Jenna can eat the cake and have it. I don't care about that. If you are okay with that, OP, that's cool. Let her. If you have no feelings for Mia, but you're like, yes, Jenna, you can go date Mia without me. I don't care.
Does have feelings for Mia.
No, he doesn't.
He had a date.
He was like,
He had a date.
There were the feelings were. I feel like this is my best friend.
You're saying when you heard that story,
sparks.
That would no.
He white knuckled those sparks, dude.
There were sparks. They both like movies.
I did no.
They both like movies, and they both like to talk about the movies.
Stop the present! Ding dong da ding! It's the wedding bells. They both like movies, people. Oh my god! They're made for each other, literally designed in a laboratory.
I'm glad you think so.
Look, and to be clear, I think OP and Jenna are fine. The thing that's going to mess all this up is Mia.
Well,
that's my prediction.
Let's see. Update 3. All right, I want one more poll. Do you think it's going to have a happy or sad ending? Put your answers in the chat right now.
You know what?
Happy or sad ending?
Funny.
We have
Ending.
a final update. Okay, wow, 50%. 50, 47. Okay. Tomlet says, okay, I get both Sam's and Dakota's POV because I've been here too. I dated my BFF's husband once and she was totally psyched out about it, but when it ended, it kind of ended the friendship too. I think I think that's the contract you sign up for. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think you enter into a new relationship when you add someone, and then if it doesn't work between any of those people, I think the whole relationship can end. It looks like people are a little push more towards happy. It went from like 25% to 36%, but still majority are saying sad ending. They're on the Dakota side of things. Let's see what happens in update 3. So I wasn't planning on updating again until we all had spicy sleep with each other. And I even had a great play on words ready for the title, Update Threesome.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Nice.
Dude, what are you doing here? You should be at the Harvard Comedy College teaching people how to write jokes.
Amen. But now I can't do that because things got effy.
No way.
Things got a little messy.
Shut up, dude. No,
Things
it
got
didn't.
messy.
No, you didn't get married to both of them?
All right. I was at the mall doing some Christmas shopping today with Mia while Jenna was at work.
Oh my God, it's the Christmas shopping again.
Things have been progressing nicely and we're getting along great. Mia is very bubbly and giddy, always holding my hand and leaning up to kiss me on the cheek every once in a while. It's cute. In the middle of our shopping trip, though, I got a call from my brother, 27 male.
All right, you guys ready to play parts here? Because it's back and forth.
All right.
Okay.
So,
do you want me brother?
Yeah, I'll be the brother.
All right.
What are you up to?
Getting some Christmas. I'll just do my regular voice because that's what I've been.
Some Christmas shopping done.
Getting some Christmas shopping done at the mall.
Are you with Jenna?
Nah, she's at work. Why?
I just needed to ask her something about what to get my wife for Christmas.
Why don't you text her yourself?
I did, and she didn't answer. Well, I mean, maybe you can help. I want to meet. You want to meet me at Mom and Dad's in a little bit? They need our help with some Christmas decorations right now, anyway.
Yeah, sure. I can meet you over there in about an hour. I tell. All right. So now our little thing has ended. I tell Mia what's happening. We finish shopping and I take her home. I head over to my parents, walk into their living room, and my mom, dad, and brother are all silent and looking at me like I've unalived the last panda on Earth.
No, they're not doing an intervention. Oh, God, no.
Okay, no, I know what's happened.
No,
I know what's happened.
Get ready for more conversation.
Oh
boys.
my God, I know what's happened.
Okay.
Me, is everything all right?
Are you cheating on Jenna?
My heart fell out of my butt. Apparently, my brother saw me and Mia at the mall, and then he called me to verify it was in fact me he was looking at. And after we hung up, he followed us around and took photos of me and Mia holding hands and being touchy-feely. He then immediately went to our parents to tell them what he saw me doing and showed them the evidence, and then waited for me to arrive for my intervention. Stopping here real quick. How do you tell your parents that you're in a polycule?
So when a man and a woman love another woman.
You go, hey, Mom and Dad. I bet you didn't know your son was an overachiever. You say, what are you talking about?
You blame it on your parents. You did this.
Yeah, this is your fault.
You prepared me for this.
You made me such an overachiever.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to stop.
Maybe so hot, cool, and collected that I couldn't get enough.
You gave me these jeans. I look like you guys.
And I wear them well. My family absolutely loves Jenna, and they treat her like a daughter/sister they never had. They've been nothing but supportive of our relationship from the beginning and have been on my butt to propose for the past few months. Oh my God.
Wait, so were you even the one who wanted to propose then, or was it just your family pressuring you?
I think he also wanted to propose, but he was also being
Do
pressured.
you know what you want?
They saw the look on my face, and my mom started crying. My dad yelled,
Jesus Christ! Are you effing stupid?
I was like a deer caught in the headlights. I kept stammering, no, it's not what you think. I can explain.
You like Courage the Cowardly Dog?
They didn't want to hear it. At this point, I was bright red from embarrassment. My mom was crying, talking about how she thought she raised me better. My dad looked like he was about to unalive me. He told me, you need to come clean to that wonderful girl and hope she takes your R-slur cheating ass back. Here's the abridged version of the conversation that followed. Me, Jenna knows.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Me, I'm not lying.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
We're all in a relationship together.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. That's the dad and the brother for all listeners. And mom's just...
Me, no, for real, I'll call her. I call Jenna and put her on speakerphone. Hey, Jenna, I just got back from the mall. My brother saw me and Mia together. My parents now know about everything. ...
...
Yep. ...
Are they mad?
They think I'm cheating on you.
Did you explain everything?
I tried. They don't believe me, and you're on speakerphone right now. Can you just say that I am not cheating on you so I can leave?
OP is not cheating on me. I know he is dating Mia.
You have been absolved. Thank you, Jenna. I love you.
I love you too.
Call ends. Silence. They had a bunch of questions that I really didn't have answers to. They asked a lot of details about the logistics of it all. If I still wanted to get married, kids, and all that stuff. You guys have been asking. Even the spicy sleep. Your family?
Bro, there's you. I need to know the questions they asked you because I guarantee you one of them was, why did you want this? And OP goes, I don't really know why I wanted this.
It was a lot harder answering the questions face to face with my parents instead of being able to type and delete anything I said to make sure the words flowed properly. I was ready to pass away from embarrassment. My brother thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard and laughed periodically throughout the whole conversation. My parents have reached the conclusion that I am self-destructing my relationship with Jenna for a piece of booty. As my dad so eloquently put it, they could not comprehend what our dynamic was, but then again, I can't fault them for that. It is different.
I was really... Then again, I can't really fault them for that because I can't describe it either.
They then asked to meet Mia, which was really weird because they've met her many, many times before and just called her a side piece regardless. I just started dating Mia, and it's a little early to be bringing her around to meet them. I told them no, and then they said it was a phase. Then they said they don't know what to tell the rest of the family, and then they said it was all going to blow up in my face in the last few threads. The entire time I was talking to them, my phone was blowing up with text messages. When I finally left, I saw they were all from my brother, who was sending them under the table. They were all along the lines of, I'm so proud of you, and my little bro is a spicy sleep god, and asking for details about the wild threesomes I must be having. Jen and I just had spicy sleep for the first time since all this started last night. Neither of us has had spicy sleep with Mia yet. Mia knew and was cool with that, so no worries there. So obviously I won't tell him about that stuff yet or ever. I am pissed at my brother for being a wiener. By the way, you should never be a wiener. And you should go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss Dakota. Is this ending happily or sadly?
I swear to God, if this ends without any clear resolution,
the resolution
I'm going to be
seems
so
good.
mad because they'll never update this with the, hey, so I guess who's single? Like they'll never say that. At least maybe not. I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like they would. Dude, all of this goes back to my same point. I don't think OP ever knew what they really wanted. Because then it even came out that their family had been hounding them to propose for months. I bet you that's why OP wanted to propose. Because he just felt like, I don't know, everyone's telling me that
so
makes sense.
OP is way too compliant and is just being pushed by the whims and wants of all those around him and has a noodle spine.
Yeah, I mean...
You think a little noodle spine?
Sometimes you can just get into a rhythm of not really being in tune with what you want, and it can last for a long time. And this is not something you should just float on into, in my opinion.
I agree that it shouldn't be floated into, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels like they're building good structures for a little polycule to work. I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the comments. Is this going to work? Is this fertile ground for a beautiful polycule to be birthed? There's a little bit more to the story, and I'm going to go right into it.
I would put so much money.
I got back to my apartment complex and went and saw Jenna at her place. Mia was there too. We had a nice long talk about it. Jenna was mortified. Mia felt like a homewrecker, and I just wanted the day to end. Both Mia and Jenna's parents live out of state, and Jenna always goes there for Christmas. Mia's parents live further away, and she couldn't afford to get a plane ticket out there this year, so I was entertaining the idea of inviting Mia along with me to Christmas at my family's place. Not sure if that's a good idea anymore. Pretty bummed because things were going pretty smoothly with a little resistance/drama between the three of us. But right now, things are pretty darn awkward. We're all pretty embarrassed at the moment. And that's how my parents found out I'm in a polyamorous relationship with two women I was blowing off the what will you say to your parents questions from the previous threads because I really did not think I'd have to deal with it for a long time. So I was completely caught off guard and had no idea what to say or do. It went about as bad as I hoped it wouldn't. Sorry about the lack of banging in this update. Just thought I'd share. Hopefully no more updates for a while unless spicy sleep is involved. I'm going to bed. And Keon, is there an update?
I think there's a couple updates, but I found the most recent update or the latest update.
What? There's an update.
Yes.
There's an update.
I would bet.
There's an update.
I would liquidate all of my assets, all of your assets, all of Keon's assets, and I would say that within 6 months, Mia is like losing her mind because she is completely fallen in love with OP and can't share him anymore. That I guarantee. Because I know Mias. I know the Mias in my life, and that is what they would do.
Keon, how long has it been since the first
It's an older story, so it doesn't have like a...
Well, yeah, they were talking about Interstellar in this story.
Oh, right.
So this is like 10 years old. Which, by the way, I have the most annoying Interstellar story. I saw that with a group of people, and then someone was like, it wasn't that good. And I was like, why? And they were like, it's just the same movie as Gravity that came out that same year with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, which are completely different movies.
I never saw Gravity.
They just both take place in space.
But let's get in to this update. There are others. Just check my history to see how much of a jerk I was. I've been getting private messages for the past 9 months asking for updates. Oh my God. I wasn't going to do it because I realized how douchey I came off. The first go round kept the private message responses when I would log in. Here's the update. Jenna and I broke up. I don't know where I stand with Mia. I'm not going to go into a long, drawn-out story for attention like last time, but the gist of things is they were going great for a while. Really great. Everyone was happy. We had tons and tons of spicy sleep. My parents had accepted everything as long as there was only one of the girls around, and they basically just closed their eyes and plugged their ears. Then, about a month ago, I noticed some distance growing between Jenna and myself. Mia noticed too. I tried being romantic with her, even gave Jenna a bit more attention than Mia, something that Mia was fine with for the time being. Nothing seemed to bring her out of her funk. I finally sat her down 2 weekends ago, and we had a long talk about what the problem was. She had met a guy at work and really liked him and wanted to date him too.
Oh, God, I was wrong. It wasn't Mia, it was Jenna.
I was not cool with this. Mia was not cool with this. We told Jenna how we were not cool with it together. Jenna got defensive, words were said, and things came to light. Apparently, Jenna had hooked up with the guy one night after work and failed to tell either of us until we interrogated her about the guy for what seemed like forever. I dumped her on the spot. Mia wasn't so quick as to dump her, so I got pissed at Mia. Mia got pissed at me back. I said some things. She said some things. Jenna got involved and said some things and told her to stay out of it in so many words. This pissed Mia off more, and I eventually left the apartment in a huff. I didn't speak to Mia for a few days until we finally texted about what the future held. Oh my God, there's more. There's more.
Wow.
But whoa. Wild card. Wild card. You've become a very rich man, Dakota.
Well,
just tripled all your winnings.
I think I only get a partial return on that.
It's a parlay.
Yeah, because I mean, I really thought it would be, the tried and true, like someone who every relationship is always going south and it's always something. Yeah.
But it was Jenna.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And it was her idea to start doing this. You know what they say? You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Unbelievable.
Bravo.
Thank you.
She came over and we talked forever. She says she loves me, but she still loves Jenna and doesn't want to throw away her years-long friendship over this. I told her it was a perfectly valid excuse to do so. She cried and cried. I asked her where we stood, and she said she wasn't sure. What do you mean? The person that didn't cheat on you, you're like not sure about, but you still want to be with Jenna?
How hot is Jenna at this point? I think we have to start asking.
Jenna's probably pretty hot.
Yeah, for that logic, it's like, well, or maybe it's like, it's what's familiar. Probably because it was like, it was their whole special thing. Maybe like a reluctance to let go of it.
I told her I couldn't be with her if she was going to stay with Jenna. I gave her Jenna's things because I was not speaking to Jenna anymore, and Mia has been talking to her still. I don't know what Mia is going to do, so I am in limbo. So now I'm waiting on Mia and what she decides. If she doesn't come up with a decision too soon, I'm going to be making one for her. I'm tired.
No.
I've been drunk pretty much nonstop the past week, and I almost feel like I deserve this.
Oh my God. Brother, make a decision for yourself.
I don't even know if I still want to be with Mia. I went from seeing 2 people I love on a daily basis to seeing no one and being a hermit. I told my brother the bare essentials, and he was surprisingly sympathetic towards me about it. Said I didn't deserve to be cheated on no matter how weird my relationships were. Crap sucks. Any updates will not receive a new thread. I will just add them here. I'm done being an attention sloot.
I just love that the brother who was like, yeah, he's the spicy sleep god is down on his luck. I got to be there for him.
That's it.
I got to be there for my spicy sleep god brother. I think that, buddy, I think you should just walk away from this whole situation right now. I think you should be done with Mia and Jenna, and that whole situation should be put behind you. Shout out to Courtney Electra in the chat for actually predicting this happening.
Wow. That is insane. I did not see that coming.
Neither did I.
I did not see that
I did not
coming.
see that coming at all. People were like, he's going to take a victory lap. I can't. I was wrong. I was not right.
You were right-ish. You were right-ish. You knew the relationship would end.
Well, in a way, it's like I was right, but it wasn't the way I thought. But that just goes to show you, it's like when you're in a poly relationship, it's like,
yeah,
you just never know what's gonna. It throws a lot of uncertainty into the mix that's not there.
Well, that is where that story ends. So poly relationships, can they work? Can they not?
Yes. No.
Debate it in the comments. That is where that story and this episode ends. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and
See you tomorrow.